Hey guys, what's up everybody? So, I hope you guys are having a great day today. Tonight tonight me and Jason are gonna go live. He is getting ready over on his side. And as soon as I see him pop on, I'll request him to come on. So, I'll give y'all a little background on what's been going on, okay? So, 2 days ago, I was scrolling through TikTok, right? Scrolling through TikTok, and I saw this video. I saw the words in the background of the video that said pain management. And I was like, hold on a second, I want to see what this video is about. So I stopped on the video, and it was a story time from this guy named Jason, right? I've never seen him before in my life. And so I stopped on the video, and he was actually telling stories about the pain clinics that were going on back in the late 90s, early 2000s down there in South Florida. And when I saw his video, it totally piqued my interest. And I was like, I'm going to listen to his story. Well, so I scrolled down to the bottom of his page and I started listening to him sharing his story, right? And it was fascinating to me. Like, I was like, damn, dude, because I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Do y'all remember the pill mill, the pain clinics back in the day where we could go into them? You pay $200, $150, something like that. And they literally look at and they literally tell you, like, what pills do you want? Okay, so that was really big down in South Florida. Hey, Tiffany, back in the, like I said, 90s and 2000s. And he was like in that. He was a part of that, and he actually got in trouble and had to do federal prison time for that. Okay, so he's going to come on tonight, and he's going to share from his perspective and from what he did. Okay, he's not a drug addict. He's never used drugs. I think he smoked weed twice in his whole entire life, but he was addicted to greed, to money, and he let that addiction to money and power override his better judgment. And he got into making these pain clinics and investing in these pain clinics, hiring the doctors, hiring the people that work there, hiring the nurses, hiring security to walk around the fucking parking lot with AR-15s. Okay, I was listening to his story, and y'all got to go follow him. His name is Jason Votrabek, okay? Votobrek, okay? The highest was, I did, not Norcos, I did Roxycodone 30 milligram. I shot them up, though. I shot them in my veins. And so, and heroin, and I've chewed on fentanyl patches before, and I have got the gel out of fentanyl patches and shot that up too. But he's going to come on and tell us a little bit about how that was, what they did, what it was like, you know, and then, of course, I will share, you know, a little bit of what it was like to be an addict, because, you know, I have friends that were driving down there like every 2 weeks to go to these pain clinics from Arkansas to Florida, from Tennessee to Florida, from Georgia to Florida, you know, from fucking New Jersey to Florida. And what would happen is you could pay people, and they would go down there and they would come back with just like copious amounts of pills, you know? And so, anyways, I think it's really interesting. Stuff like that interests me. I don't know about you guys, but I love watching like true crime stuff and prison stuff like that. So this is just like that. This is like this prison shit, you know? So he's about to pop on with me now.
There she is. How we doing?
I'm doing good. What about you, man? I'm excited to have you on here.
Yeah, same here. I've been looking forward to doing answer some questions from other different types of people. I love hearing from everybody.
So I was just telling everybody about how I was scrolling on TikTok the other day, and I fell upon your content, and just how, because to me it's interesting as fuck, because I was an addict. I went down there to those pill houses, to the clinics and shit, and so it was really interesting.
Pill mills, clinics, it doesn't matter. The feds call them pill mills. We call them pain clinics.
Well, tell me this. Okay, I want to ask. Can I ask you like some questions and you
No,
answer
no,
them for me?
I want you to interview me because y'all are interested in this, and that's what I want. I want you to ask the questions, and I'll do the answering.
Okay, okay. So first and foremost, what's your name? How old are you? Are you married or single? And uh, yeah, that. Tell us that first, because I know the
I'm
girls want to
Jason.
know.
So listen, my name is Jason Votrubek. I'm 38 years old. I will be turned 39 in September. And yes, ladies, I'm single as the point. Um, they have to prove their point to me. So after about 90-day period, 100 days, because of the fact that I'm on house arrest, which you can see it right here, it becomes an issue, guys. So I kind of like, talking to somebody first before I go in because it's a lot to take in.
Yeah,
They
hell
say
yeah.
they can handle it. I want them to show it first before I really commit, and that's how it goes.
So what got you into investing, and what was the initial like draw to you investing in these pain clinics? Like, how did you get wrapped up in any of that?
So, my buddy Zach, lifelong friend, was a doctor shopper. He became a sponsor. And I knew that he was into that stuff, but I didn't know the full depth of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew what he was doing, I knew people that were on it. But since I didn't do drugs, I didn't understand it. I was in a different field. I was in the cocaine business back in the day. So I was a drug smuggler. And when I got out of it, because I had issues with my connects over in Bahamas, I don't know who I could trust or who I could. Because they tried to kidnap me one time, then there was a shootout one time. So my daughter was just born, and I was like, I'm done with it all. I don't want to be in the game no more. And Zach come to me. I was laying on the couch. My daughter was sleeping on my chest. And he calls me, and I answered, and he's like, hey, are you home? And I'm like, yeah. And as I'm saying, yeah, he's walking in my door. As he's talking to me on the phone, he's walking in my door. So Zach tells me, he's like, Dan, I got this great pitch to you. And I'm like, dude, great pitch? I'm like, no, dude. I was like, dude, anything from you? No. And he's like, listen, dude, I met this guy in the club, da 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 da. And so he's going in depth with me about it. And I'm just like, I want no part of it, dude. I'm like, I don't just trust it. I haven't heard nothing good. He's like, but it's legal. I said, I don't care if it's legal or not. I don't need the money. I was set. I was good to go. It was in 2008 when the economy crashed. So I was set. So Zach went on to do his thing. And Zach was, kept bothering me, kept pitching it to me. So then one day, I don't know, 2, 3 months in, he said, let's go to lunch. So then he takes me, we got to stop by this accountant. Then we got to stop by this lawyer. And then he's like, tell this guy that this stuff is legit, because he was signing paperwork for something else, doing something. He's like, tell this guy it's legit, this and that. And then he takes me by the clinic, introduces me to everybody. So my mind started thinking, I'm like, you know what? I'm only loaning him the money. I'm not buying into it. I'm just loaning him the money. I'm like, it looks like it's a good deal. He'll be able to give me my money back, and I'll make some money on top of it. And that's how it started.
Okay, so you were just going to loan him money and then you were going to make money on top of that. And you just, okay, you had your kid, you were like, I'm not going to do no scandalous ass shit no more. Like, I'm flying right. Well, how did they suck you into actually like getting into it and being like in the center of all that?
So what happened was, is Zach, the whole time he had intentions to. Zach doesn't like do anything of his own. So if something goes bad, he wants somebody there with him. So how I felt, my thing is that he was supposed to be paying me money, and he kept saying, Vinny's screwing me, Jason, Vinny's not paying me, because we went in with Vinny Colangelo on some clinics in Broward County. It's the one with the yellow awning is the one he invested into. Then they were doing a couple other ones that I was giving more money to. So then Zach tells me, he's like, Jason, he's like, listen, Vinny's fucking me. I got something bigger. So he hires this kid named Ryan Young from our hometown. He's got a nub, so we call him Nubby because his hand blew off when he was a kid. So with M80, puts him in, starts learning the dispensaries and everything else. He's not really telling me what he's got going on. He's just like, Jason, I'm gonna get you money. Don't worry about it. Just chill. Because Zach's one of the ones like, just shut the f up, man. Just chill out. You know I'm not gonna screw you. So it was just a point. So then he comes to me one day and was like, listen, I'm done with Vinny. I know what I need to do. I've been taking everything I can take. We're going to go to Jacksonville, and I'm not paying your money back. You're going in partnership with me. So you can get screwed out of your money, or you're going in partnership with me. Because he
Oh,
needed somebody. Zach is one of them ones that he doesn't like to do anything on his own, I felt like. And he's always like, he wants somebody to go with him. And if something goes bad, he doesn't want to be on the ship sinking himself. So it's like I really had no choice. And then by then, I would already seen what was going on, looked into it. Things were on the up and up. I done talked to Lewis Fisher, which is an ex-DE agent, and everybody else telling me it's all legit. It's frowned upon, but it was all legal at the time. So I was like, there's no way you can lose in this. Why not do it? I'm like, okay, yeah, I've been in business that are frowned upon. Oh, so be it. So that's how it all started.
And just so everybody knows, like, you are not proud of this. You're not proud of this. Like, you know
No.
that you shouldn't have done this, but now you're trying to share. Tell us why why are you sharing all this with everybody about the pill mills and prison and everything?
So my main issue is the fact that I don't think it's fair that people like me go to prison, users go to prison or the grave. Okay, big pharma gets fined. Listen, they're still in business. They're still doing what they're doing. People like me lost my people like me lost how I say lost my family, lost time, lost everything. But meanwhile, Big Pharma is going. Somebody's trying to text me, but Big Pharma is going. Just pays fine and is allowed to do this to this day. They still got their family, still got their companies, and still making money. But me as a person lost my family, went to prison, lost everything I had. Users lose everything they got, and they go to the grave. So
Yep.
it's like so it's not fair. So the whole thing about it is nobody's talking about my side of the story about how that works. Everybody else just saying, oh, it's everybody else's fault, blah, blah, blah. I'm the guy in the middle. So I see the top and I see the bottom. So I'm trying to put the puzzle together. And everybody says the way I talk about it pretty much makes people understand, like what I'm seeing. So I go to trial and I'm thinking like, why is the guys above me not getting in trouble, but I'm taking all the blame? So when I went to trial, I was the top of the totem pole. They were not going to go no higher. And I learned that the reason why they can't go no higher is because laws were passed. And I put it in my link tree on the whistleblower to DEA. So when I go to trial, I learn all this stuff. Nobody else gets to hear this stuff unless you go to trial. And I'm like, so you're telling me that I go to prison for the same thing they do, and they paid Congress to pass laws, but they don't lose their families, lose nothing? And they're like, yeah, that's pretty much it. So you're the scapegoat. So I told them straight up, I was
Hey,
like,
hush. Sorry about that.
that's all right. So I told them straight up, I'm like, so you're telling me I'm the scapegoat? And they're like, yeah, so you're just going to have to hit it. It is what it is. So when I got out, I'm like, all right, I'm going to bring the light to this. And I'm like, this right here, everybody kept telling me it's a hell of a story. So I was like, all right. And I didn't really understand it until everybody started telling me. We put a script together, and it's been going great.
Dude, it's really interesting to me because I lived through it. I was getting pills and I was addicted to those pills, and I knew many, many people who were bringing back like buttloads of pills from Florida to Arkansas and all over the United States. So when I saw you talking about it, I was like, damn, dude, that is so crazy to me. Because I feel like a lot of people don't realize like how these, like when I tell you guys, he can tell you even better than I can. Like when tell them about what it was like in these pill mills. Tell them what it was, tell them about the line, tell them about how the doctor operated. We want to know what it was like, how everything operated.
So the thing about it is you have to understand is what went on behind them closed doors, I don't know. We never had a relationship with the doctors like that.
Okay.
Nobody told the doctors what to do, not to do, stuff like that. The thing is when we hired the doctors, we explained to them what we expected, what the people are going to be looking at. We didn't see, we hired, I think the first two doctors. After that, we hired headhunters. So what they did was they did the hiring. So they asked us what we expected, what we were looking for. So we tell them what we're expecting and look for. So when they find the doctors, they hire them. They say, okay, guys, listen, they're going to be having people that are going to be coming, going to be looking for you to write up to at least 240, 30s, blah, 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 blah. Are you willing to do that? It's not going to be no higher than that. And they would say yes and no. This is what their terms. So they would counter us. So then we would agree, okay, we're going to hire them or not, and what they were going to do, what they were willing to do, how much they were willing to get paid. And we would hire them, put them in there, and they did what they did. Never came out in trial that nobody ever told the doctors what to do in our clinics. Now, here's the issue. You cannot control the patients. So we told the patients everything they wanted to hear when we called them on the phone. You will get the same exact where you were going for, bring proof, and our doctors will match it. We told them everything they wanted to hear to get them in the door. So there was a lot of pissed off customers when they came and didn't get what they wanted. But Zach always said, it doesn't matter. It's about getting your name out there. So we did what we had to do. But the problem of it is the corruption. The girls behind the counter and the patients, they're always bribing, they're always manipulating. They're always doing all kinds of stuff. So it goes hand in hand. It's like we know what we were doing, and the patients know what they're doing. Okay, be honest with you. Yeah, there's some bad doctors out there, but most of the doctors got caught up in some bullshit that didn't have a clue how the patients were, what was going on. They're not street smart at all. They're not at all.
Right.
We didn't talk to them like that. It's not like we went in and said, "Hey doc, what's up? We need to do this." We didn't do that. That's not how it went down. You know what I'm
If
saying?
if one of these people that is watching this video right now and they've never, like they've never, they don't even know what you're talking about, what's a pill mill? What could they expect if they had showed up there on a Monday morning to come to that clinic and get seen by the doctor? What was it like? What was the setting?
So Jacksonville Pain was the worst. The rest of them started getting better organized, and we were getting better at what we were doing. Jacksonville, you would show up and there'd be 200 people elbow to elbow, and you couldn't move nowhere in none of the waiting rooms. We couldn't control it. It was so out of control. I mean, there would be 200-300 people lined up at the door first thing in the morning when we get there. We had to have 24-hour security just to keep them from lining up at the door at 2 o'clock in the morning. We had to shut it down. The feds didn't shut it down. We shut it down because it got to the point where we could not control it. No matter, it had such a bad rep that we shut it down and we moved it to Duval Wellness, and we had better control. But we had to have 24-hour security at the place because to keep people from lining up, because we would schedule patients. We would schedule, let's say our doctors agreed to see 100 patients. So we'd schedule 100 patients, okay, with 2-3 doctors. And we would take in so many walk-ins because not everybody would show up, or they would get through them and have extra time. So we'd always say, "Hey guys, listen, stay. We might let you know." So then 100 people would stay around hoping they can get seen. It was that crazy back then. And but as we got better, they got way more. We got to the point where we just took scheduled patients. Even if we had extra space, we just shut down for the day. It was what it was. We got better. We were making good money. We didn't care about making the millions like everybody else was. As I'm telling you, as we open them, they just kept getting better and better and better. But it doesn't matter what you do. They're going to keep coming, and they're going to keep coming. It doesn't matter how good you do it. It doesn't matter what the script amount is. They don't care about none of that. It's the sole fact they pick and choose who they want, and they come after you for press. It's all a political thing, because when I went to trial in Jacksonville, we told the jury, to this day, there were 600 pain clinics in Florida when I went to trial, still open and operating the same way I was. What made me different than the rest of them? If you can't tell the jury if we broke any laws in black and white.
Yeah. How did you guys like how do you get patients? Like, you just put up a building and then they show up? I mean, how did you guys actually get people to know about you and come to those clinics?
Okay, so that was the point where I talked about Vinnie Colangelo. Not Vinnie Colangelo. So Zach was at Vinnie Colangelo's when he was partners with him. He was already talking to patients that he was going to start his own place, and they were saying, "Okay, we'll come to it." So he was networking when he was at the clinics in South Florida. We brought in Pete Tyndall. He owned the MRIs, all the MRIs. He probably did 80% of the MRIs for the pain clinics, throughout the whole state of Florida. He had semi rigs that he would park behind strip club parking lots, and he would park them all over the place and move them. And that's how he did the MRIs. And come to find out during trial, you could pay extra to get a fake MRI. So everybody had injuries, because you had to have an MRI and had to have injuries in order to get pain meds.
Uh-huh.
So we brought him as a silent partner, which is Jenna Crawley, which is his mistress. He was married with kids, and he had this stripper girl that he brought in as a partner. So she came in as a 25% partner, a silent partner, and would take his money in. So what she did was she overseen it. He seen it. So he gave us pretty much a roster of all his out-of-state patients. And then supposedly we had a girl working at the George Brothers. I don't know if we put her in there or if a girl that we paid off gave us a roster of their out-of-state patients. So we called all the out-of-state patients, and all we said was, "This is American Pain. We're no longer accepting out-of-state patients at our South Florida clinic. We opened one in Jacksonville. Your next visit will be in Jacksonville." So every one of them fell for it, besides probably like 10 of them called down there and was like, "Hey, just want to make sure that we're going to the right location in Jacksonville." And they're like, "What?" So that's how it works. But he networked in the clinics down there. Pete Tyndall came in as a partner and gave us his list, and we supposedly got a list from the George brothers, and that's what pissed them off so much.
Oh God. I just like I can't imagine being down there and like there being MRI in a fucking semi truck and people
Yeah.
going in this thing to get an MRI and just everything was on the premises. Like they could get their prescription, their MRIs, everything right there.
So Pete would pull his semi rig to our clinics and park it in the parking lot to where you can get your MRI a lot. He would say, okay, guys, the 4th week of this month, I will have them there. So anybody needs an MRI will get it at that time. So he'd pull the semi rigs to our clinics and park them in things. So you get your MRI, wait a couple hours for the results to come back, walk in the clinic, see a doctor, get prescription, and go home all in one day. Same
Damn.
location. And it's not against the law at all. It's all legit. You get your license, because if it was illegal, they would just came in and arrested us right then and there. They wouldn't have to build a case against you. They can just walk in and say, you're breaking the law, let's go. But they hit you with conspiracy because it's not illegal to do what we did. It's a mindset thing that they're talking about. And that's why Big Pharma, watch the whistleblower DEA thing in my link tree. It's going to talk about how the DEA exposed the fact that Big Pharma paid Congress to pass laws to exempt them from being prosecuted because they knew it was coming.
Damn. Okay, what was the point where you like where the jig was up, they were coming, they were charging you with whatever they were charging you with. Like what happened to set that in motion?
Okay, so about 3 months into Jacksonville, I ended up starting my own clinic in Atlanta. I got up out of Jacksonville. Jacksonville, within 3 months of us opening, was already out of control. Everybody was racing there because the very first week, we had hundreds of people. I mean, we put such a dent. We couldn't open up clinics fast enough. There were so many patients coming to us from out of state.
Yep.
So we had tapped into something, so everybody was running there. So me and Zach were trying to run to Atlanta, but it was at the point where Zach had so much going on, I wanted to get away because I didn't know what to believe and what to trust anymore. So what he did, you're going to hear about this guy named Roland Castellanos. He's going to come into the play. He's a very smart man. He had all the connects with the pharmaceutical companies. If you don't have no ties to pharmaceutical companies, you're not going to get no meds. They just don't deal with anybody. So what we did, we brought him in. Zach got his thing. Zach didn't like how he ran the operations because he wanted to run it right, like squeaky clean right. And the thing with Zach is he wants to make that fast money. He was like, why do it this way? I need to blow up because I got all these things, and I'm going to burn Jacksonville Clinic to the ground. That's what he was going to do. He was going to use it as the poster boy of getting everything there and blow off his other clinics, and then he was going to burn it to the ground. So he fired Roland, which you're going to hear about it coming up soon. I take Roland. I call him when he gets fired, and I said, listen, stop where you're at. I'm going to meet you. I met with him and told him, you're going to Atlanta. You're going to open up a clinic for me, and we're going to go in business, and I'm going to bring you in as a partner. So Roland, within 3 months, 4 months, I'd leave Jacksonville. I have no ties with Jacksonville anymore. The following month, as I'm in Atlanta with my clinic, Jacksonville gets raided, all the clinics. My bank accounts get seized, everything else. Zach has clinics elsewhere, everything else. So we get lawyers. The lawyers tell us, listen, if the feds raid your stuff, I already talked to them, y'all are going to prison, you're going to do a lot of time. So I said, what do we do about all our other clinics? And they said, it doesn't matter what you do with them. You can keep them running or you can shut them down. You're still going to prison. So we were like, fuck it, we're going to keep it running. So that's when I started spending the money, because I didn't spend no money up to this point. That's when I was like, you know what, we're going all out. If I'm going to prison, I'm going to live, I'm going to at least live good. So it took them almost 2 years to indict me. That was the whole thing. And then they raided my Georgia clinic and they indicted me.
Some people don't understand like why was Florida such a hot spot for these pain clinics? Why Florida?
Because Florida is known for the fraud state. Okay, we have all the white collar crime down here because Florida is the retirement state. So there's a lot of elderly here. So the laws are totally different and cater to big pharma, and they cater to the insurance companies due to the reason, for one thing, is because it's such an elderly retirement community. So the laws are so relaxed here that you're able to do this, unlike other places.
Okay. So when they indicted you, how long did it take for them to for you to go into trial to go into prison?
So it took them 3 years. I went to trial on the second year in Florida, and I was a month-long trial, and I won. So I was supposed to go to trial the following month after I was found not guilty in Georgia, and they seen that I got found not guilty, so they introduced a bunch of evidence and pushed it back a whole nother year. So 3 years from the time I was indicted is when I went to trial on the second one. It was a month-long trial, and I was found guilty. And then within a month from there, I was at a federal prison.
Where did you go to federal prison, and how many years did you have to stay there?
I did 8 years. I started out in Oakdale, Louisiana. I got in trouble there, kept getting in fights, checking in guys that had bad paperwork, trying to tell me how to do my time. They got tired of me. I did a lot of time in the SHU. They sent me to Yazoo, Mississippi. I did really good there. They were supposed to send me closer to home, so they punished me again. They sent me to Manchester, Kentucky. I did everything I was supposed to do. I followed the rules, and my girl was so excited because I was supposed to get to a Florida prison, and they shipped me to Manchester, Kentucky. And that was the turning point in my relationship going bad. Because I now was going to do 18 months clean conduct up there before I can be put in for another transfer, and that's if I was going to be able to get it. So I got up there. I showed my ass, did all kinds of stuff, and I ended up getting put on care level 2 because of some issues, just to get closer to get a transfer in. And I got closer to home to Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama. And then it was like 2 months after I was there, that's when she finally threw in the towel and left. And then I finished my time out there.
What, man? I mean, how do you pass the time doing 8 years in fucking prison? Like, what did you do in there to pass the time?
Day by day. Work, read, study. I mean, you name it. You have to do whatever you're going to do. It's day by day. Every day's different. Some days it's violent. Some days it's intense. Other days it's laid back. You watch a lot of TV. You work out every day. I didn't play no sports or anything like that because if you get hurt in prison, they don't like to take care of you. My shoulder, I got in a bad fight, broke my shoulder. It took 4 years to get surgery on it. I had to sit there and lay with a broken shoulder for 4 years. I've been stabbed in the side. I mean, it's just the thing about you have to understand about prison is that you have to take it day by day. It's never 2 of the same days in prison. And I'll tell you, it felt like a life sentence. But, once you accept your time, it takes a while. The trick to time is accepting your time. Yeah. Once you get in your head that there's an out date and that's the out date, that's what you focus on and go with it.
Yeah. Okay. What about, did you ever have to go into like segregation where you were like in a cell or in a room all by yourself?
Yeah, all the time. I was always under investigations. I was notorious for having phones. I was notorious for fighting, checking paperwork. So, because the thing about me is I didn't fit in with everybody because I didn't do drugs. Okay, I got no tattoos. I didn't do drugs. So my issue is that I wasn't a part of the crowd. So needs to say I didn't really hang out with the older white collar guys. I did a little bit, but they stick to themselves. The younger guys are usually junkies and they're in gangs, and I'm not in it. So I didn't participate in supplying drugs and doing stuff. So it was always some kind of like an issue, like grounding. But once I stood my ground and earned my respect, they left me alone due to stuff. Because like one time, some shit got caught in our room. Instead of them going down, they put it on me, ratted on me, gang members again, ratted on me, put it on me. So I would go to the SHU because I don't contribute to their drug habits. So it was like, why should we lose one of us when we can lose somebody that doesn't contribute to our thing? Right. And they stole all my stuff. So when I went to SHU, they stole all my shit. So when I came out, first thing I did after 3 weeks being in SHU, I came out and I fought. I went straight in the room and started jumping on one of them. And then I went right back to the SHU. I mean, that's just how you got to do it. Because if you
doesn't it make you go crazy being in there, like in there all by yourself?
I mean, yeah, to a point it does. But you got to understand, it's mind thing. For the first 2 weeks, the SHU is really, really hard. Okay, the third week it starts getting a little easier. You'd be surprised how the human mind and the human body will adjust to any conditions. And I promise, I did 6 months straight in a room. Okay, 6 months I did straight one time. Wow. And I will tell you, once you get in a routine of getting up in the morning, working out, reading books, do whatever your routine is, I promise you, time starts clicking. You wait for your mail. You wait for the meals. You take your naps. You do your workouts. And when I'm telling you, you get in this routine, the days start clicking. And you'd be surprised. You go into a little bird cage every day or 5 days a week if you're up and you're ready and the guards feel good. They will take you out like 6:30 in the morning. This little bird cages so you can get some fresh air. You're in a cage, usually by yourself or with a couple other people sometimes. So it's like a little mingle thing. But you mingle through the vents. You pump the water out of the pipe so you can talk above you or under you, depending what floor you're in. We call it fishing. We fish down the thing. Hey, room such and such. I'm gonna send a kite, and you throw it down. They grab it. They keep sending your thing all the way down the hallway, and then they'll yell, "Police coming!" So everybody's pulling their lines up, trying to hope the police.
Tell everybody what a kite is. Some people don't know what that is.
Okay, a kite is a note. A kite can be multiple things. We call it fishing. We take string from our sheets, our blankets. We tie them together so they're really, really long. We take toothpaste little things with a paper clip, put a little hook on it. So we'll put an envelope with batteries, whatever we want in there, or we'll put some type of a system where we have like we want to hook a magazine, so we'll trade magazines off. So I'll throw the kite, and I'll hook the magazine to my end. They'll pull it. So it's so long that even though when they pull it down to them, I still got my string here because the thing is in the middle. So we'll feed magazines, batteries for our radios, pens, pencils, anything you can think about, we can pass it under the doors. Fishing takes forever, and the great thing about it, it burns time. And it keeps your mind going. You're not thinking about stuff. So there's a lot of things you can do in the shoe to really keep your mind going, be creative. I mean, just from, the working out, I have my girl always send like Sudoku, all kinds of, we get cards off the commissary, so we'd play cards in there. When I go to the shoe, my mom and them knew to subscribe to magazines, mail magazines into me all the time. So there's a lot of things you can do to really occupy your time, and I promise you will read the magazine front to back more than once.
Yeah, I bet. I'm sure. When you were locked up, what is the craziest thing that you saw while you were locked up in prison? Craziest, grossest, weirdest, whatever.
The craziest, grossest thing to me is catching two dudes together. They don't care. Like going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. My first night in prison, I'm going to do a thing on it, guys, because on my first night in prison, I don't even know what to think. I get on the yard around 6:30, like 6:30, I think it is. I missed chow, so I had to eat the little sack thing. I go in. The white dudes greet me. I'm getting put in a room. They're checking on me a little bit. I go to bed. I wake up around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Got to take a piss. We don't have locked doors. We're in a dorm. So I walk to the end of the dorm to the bathroom. And I go in there. And the dude has got this dude bent over the toilet, balls deep in him. And he's just stopping and he's just looking at me like I'm in the wrong for coming in there going to the bathroom. And he's watching me the whole time. So when I leave, so he can go back to pounding old boy again. To me, that's crazy.
That's crazy to me, too. I would have been scared.
I've seen some bad stabbings. I've seen some good ass whoopings. To me, that shit really didn't bother me too bad because I've seen it and I lived it out here. But I've never been around that type of the other stuff. The prison politics to me is the most craziest backward stuff I've ever seen in my life. They make it so confusing, and how they run it is really awkward, and they're not up for change. And the next thing that's current is the currency. Everywhere you go, the money changes. It might be stamps, it might be max, it might be whatever. And every prison has a different currency value of what a stamp is worth. And that's how you do it. You get stamps and you trade stamps to buy stuff.
Like so stamps that you put on an envelope.
Envelope, yes. So they can't be, up them, so they have to be clean stamps. So, say I'm selling fudge or selling something or anything, selling cigarettes or whatever it is, it's like 3 stamps. So you'll give them 3 stamps. You buy them off the commissary or you'll buy them off the compound. So there's flat books, which you buy the brand new ones, which you're going to pay top dollar, or you can buy compound ones where you send money to the person and they give you as many stamps as you ask for. So you'll send a letter home or get on cell phone, tell your girl, say, hey, send this person $50 because I'm going to get so many books of stamps. And state prison, like this guy said, Ethan, is green dot. Feds don't work off green dot. Now everybody says they're running off of Cash App because there's so many cell phones in the prison. So Cash App is the deal. Cell phones are going for, I hear right now, $2,500. So the little $75 touch screens that you get for $75 are going for, most I ever paid was $1,800. They're going for behind the fence. At the camps, they're going for like $350 to $500. But behind the fence, they're going for $2,500 right now, I hear.
How do they get cell phones in there? Is it through the guards?
Very rarely you're going to corrupt a guard in the feds. It's just not going to happen. Every prison has a camp. And a camp is a prison outside the fence that has no fence around it. They run commissary, They run the warehouses. They mow all the grass. They take care of all the outside maintenance to, bringing food into all the prisons, everything. So what they'll do is hide packages, get a phone in there, or somebody connect, say on this date, da da da. And then when they get a phone in, they'll say, hey, we're gonna send it in this container. So they'll make like containers, put them in the middle of the big crates. However they hide it, it's how their hustle is. I'm not giving nothing up.
Yeah.
This is the shit the guards know. They cannot catch it. They only get so many shipments. So many get through and so many get caught. The only way they get caught is because it's people that tell. That's it. Other than that, they don't. Like Kyle said, green dot's over.
How did you not get into, like, did you not seek some kind of relief in there? Like, did you smoke cigarettes? I mean, you didn't do nothing.
Working out.
Just staying focused and working out.
If you see the picture of me when I did the video, just pictures of me I never give up. The last one is a prison pic of me. I got a couple prison pics where I can do pill-offs. Some prisons let you do pill-offs. All I focused on was working out, and I did a lot of studying because I hung around a lot of big-in guys from the huge mob guys, not like mobs, but more like drug cartel and gang guys. So I was with one of the heads of the GDs. I was with a lot of cartel guys because my paperwork was good. I went to trial. They would accept me in once they got to know me. And then I hung around a lot of Fortune 500 company guys. So they would teach me a lot of stuff, give me a lot of books to read, and that's how I did it. Kyle that's in here will tell you I hung around a guy, we nicknamed him Dirty Mike. He was a Fortune 500 company guy. He ran a $5 billion company. So I hung around all the big guys. And they will teach you, if you're willing to learn and you can hold yourself and carry yourself, you will. But I will tell you another thing. You've got to learn. The shoe time broke me. It taught me how to do time by myself, and I didn't need nobody. So a lot of times I listened. The radio was in my ear every day, all day long. So I would listen to talk radio. I would listen to radio stations. And it was like I had a routine of my radio all day long of listening to whatever I did. You go to work. You listen to your radio as much as you can. You work out, you get in this routine, you have TV shows at nighttime, and you take your ass to bed. And once you get in the routines and you exit the outside world out, that's the trick. Get the outside world out of your head, and I'm telling you, the days will start clicking.
How did going to prison affect your relationship with your old lady and your daughter?
So it was great for the first 5 years. I could tell when I didn't get close to home, that's when the falling point started happening. I could tell the loneliness was wearing down, the traveling, everything else. She was riding strong. My daughter, it was hard on her. But I called every day. I made sure I called her in the mornings. I called her at night, told her good night. When I had my phone, I would FaceTime her. I never missed a birthday, really. I never really missed a birthday, a Christmas, a Thanksgiving, her games too much because they would hold them up and let me watch them on Skype. I mean, I got to watch all that stuff. So, do you ever Google yourself? I was surprised that you came up. So, yes, like I have Googled myself. They were asking some questions and I answered a few of them.
What did you do the first day you got out of prison? What did you do?
First day?
Yeah.
I was on the road almost the whole day. It took me all day to get home because I was so far away. The very first thing I did, I got in the car. My mom had my clothes waiting for me. So, I was literally getting naked and changing my clothes out. And the first thing I wanted to do was get something to eat. I like home-cooked food in a way, country food. Only thing I trusted was Cracker Barrel, so I told my mom, let's hit the nearest Cracker Barrel. And I pretty much ordered one of everything on the menu because I just wanted to eat everything.
Did it take you a long time to get used to not being in prison and being out in the real world?
Yes and no. Then what was so great, I was at Maxwell Air Force Base. I had a job on the base.
Okay, cool.
When I first got my job on the base, I didn't know how to act for weeks. I was always looking on my shoulder. I didn't know how to talk to the military people. I worked out on the base. My bosses was not prison. My boss was military people. So when I was out there, I had free reins, hanging out, whatever. My bosses were all girls too. So I didn't even know how to talk to them. I just sat back. They were like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, what do you mean? I just got done doing 6 years behind the fence.
Yeah.
So I'm not allowed to talk to no female staff. And so that was the harder part. But once I learned how to interact and I was out on the base every day interacting with them, it wasn't so hard. So it helped me tremendously.
How much did the world change, like from the time you went in to the time you went out? Was it like cell phones different, all that kind of stuff?
It did. Technology changed so much. Haitian, you forgot to mention over the fence drops. I can't. That's how we got. So I will talk about that in a minute, Kyle. Technology is the only thing that changed, and it changed to a certain point. But the thing about technology is, if you're already somewhat savvy, it's easy to catch up.
Yeah.
So we're talking only maybe a couple weeks, a month of catching up on that. Everything else, the only other thing that I really noticed was cars, technology in cars. If you drive a newer one, like said the blinkers like staying up when you think like that, now they just push up and just to, engage the thing. I didn't understand that because before when I went, you pushed up and it stayed there until you turned and it would fall back down. I'm like sitting there like, what the hell is wrong with this thing? So that in the GPS systems, are so much more. The technology in the vehicle is so intertwined now. That took me a little bit to understand too. But the rest of the stuff, it really didn't. Another thing, how the cards work, the debit cards with the little chips and how you
Yeah.
tap. Like, I was like, hey, dude, I was like, listen, I just got out of prison. I don't know how to use none of this shit. To be honest with you, can you tell me? And the cash register looked at me funny. So here's the thing about it is, so camps, I'm going to let you get you on the thing. So how we get packages in the camps, we got runners. They're called runners. Some camps got fences, so we cut the fence or we go over them or we go under them, depending if they got razor wire or not. But they have no guards, they don't have the cars, so it's easy to get in and get out. So you always got a lookout guy. And I always got paid to be a lookout guy too. So I was a lookout guy. I would look out why they would take off running, be up there with a thing, wait and see if the police come or they did emergency count, you call them and get them back in. So they run out to the road. Some are like 5-minute runs, some are 45-minute runs there and back. They run out, they grab the package, a car will come with the trunk popped, and they'll just grab the package, the thing, and they take off with these huge duffel bags full of liquor, phones, whatever. So that's how the camps get the product in. They have runners, or they'll have somebody run up and throw it over the fence for us, and we grab it and bring it in the buildings. Once we get that in the building, then we distribute it to get it behind the fence through, warehouse. So you got food, laundry, and commissary. Or you can do it where the campers will run and throw it over the fence at a certain time and time the cars that are rotating thing. Drones is a new thing that they're doing now, flying it in through drones. So the campers and then will fly it at nighttime with the drones and drop it off because they're allowed to be on the premises. So I was told the campers are doing that now. So,
damn, people are flying drones over there to get shit in? That's crazy to me.
They're flying. So we'll get the little chips in, so we'll hold it. So what we'll do is our windows are welded. So we'll get some of the windows unwelded, get them grinded down to where we can get the windows open and hold the little chip there, and the drone will fly it to the window so you can grab the package straight from your window of your room.
Wow, that's fucking convenient.
Yeah, so it is very convenient. Like I tell you, these inmates, they live there, staff don't. They monitor and watch every movement of everything. That's what their job is. All they do is watch and study. When you go to prison, you pay attention. Who? Campers? Actually, campers are the ones that are running to get the packages and flying the domes most of the time. So the thing is you got to realize minding your own business is the only thing you're going to do in prison to keep yourself out of trouble. You don't mind your business, you're going to have more problems than you ever seen in your life. And I promise you, when they're done with you, you're going to mind your business. Because so many people got so much shit going on, and you live there, so you see everything. So the trick is to act like you're blind. You don't want to care nobody's business, because if they see you paying attention and something gets hit and a package is done, guess who they're going to blame? You.
Yeah.
They're going to say, you were paying attention. Did you snitch on me? So you're going to get a blanket party. You're going to get whatever they end up doing to you. They're known for putting knives on you, cell phones on you to get you out. So if they don't want to get somebody doesn't want to lose to get off the compound and get in a fight or whatever, 9 times out of 10, they'll put a knife, a cell phone, something on you to get you out of there.
So, okay, so once you got home, what are your goals now that you're out of prison and you're on social media, you're making content? Like, what kind of inspired you? Like, hey, I'm going to start coming on social media and sharing my story. What made you decide to do that?
So when I went to federal prison, I thought I was going to hear way better stories than mine. I lived mine, so I didn't think it was that crazy. There's a lot of stories I can't share, and I shared them with you on the phone personally, and you were laughing. They're pretty graphic. I can't tell you on here, but I promise you guys, they're really, really crazy. Shit that you won't hear nowhere else that I lived in other countries. So when I would tell these stories in prison and I would tell what went on in trial, and everybody's just mind boggled about how the feds work, how they were exempt and I was going down and other people died for the same thing they're getting away with. So when I would start telling my story, especially my personal life, the crazy shit we did with helicopters and all the crazy buying the cars and this and that and being young, making that money, it started being where my circles were bigger than everybody else's. So everybody knew it would come in like, he's got the crazy story. You got to hear this. So everybody wanted to come to my cell and hear my stories a lot. So when I came home, I've been working on a deal with somebody for a good minute over a movie deal because when I was in the feds, I was around a lot of people with a lot of connects. So they were reaching out to their people and like, this guy's got a story. So it kind of started sparking a thing. We wrote a movie script. I had some really great people work on it and get it going. So we've been shopping it and it's been getting traction. So I put a thing together because the person that is over this was like, I want to just put a little something together to like kind of show me like what's going on. So I put it on TikTok and it blew up. People always told me I need to talk about this and get it out. I just didn't know how, and I just wasn't that interested in it. But once my story blew up and people wanted to hear it, I started talking, and I seen how much it resonates and how many people are so interested in this story about my point of view because nobody hears it from my angle. And I've woken a lot of people up through my link tree of all these documentaries, all these datelines, these 60-minute shows that nobody's ever seen, Dope Sick, Body Brokers, all these things has gotten these people going, wow, the system really is broken and it is really happening this way. And people like you get addicted and people like you go to the grave. I didn't use drugs, so I'm not going to go there for it. But people like me go to prison. We both played a role. We both lost something. Well, guess who's not losing nothing? Guess who hasn't lost their family and hasn't gone to prison?
Big Pharma.
At the top.
Yeah.
They haven't lost nothing. They haven't lost one night of sleep. And that's the point that I'm trying to get across, and that's how I want my TV series to be done, is to show the fact. And the reason why I come on here is to tell my story, get people involved, because the bigger my base is and the more people back me up, the more control I have over how my series gets told.
And listen, if there wasn't, it's a supply and demand. There was people in need. There are still people in need of pain medication, and they're not getting their pain treated. There's like a whole community of chronic pain patients who are being cut off of their opioid pain medication because of the government coming down and making these restrictions and scaring doctors. So doctors don't want to prescribe opiates anymore.
Yes, that is correct.
You know,
they don't. Nobody wants to prescribe it because they came in and died a bunch of people because they don't want to change the laws because they don't want big pharma to quit cutting them off in their campaign money. It all goes back to one thing. It all revolves around the money. And let me tell you, they know what's going on, just like I knew what was going on. But when the laws say you can do it, it's just like a bartender. Bartender knows 80% of people are going to get in their vehicle and drive. Okay, and they're serving drinks all night, watching everybody get toast, watching the lights come on, and how many people stumble out the door. And they continue to do it night after night, guys. So it's just like that. They know it's frowned upon. If somebody's going to end up eventually getting in a car accident, kill somebody else, because the drunk person always lives. And, but it's legal. And that's the thing about it. Nothing ever happens. But you have all these drunk drivers against, or mothers against drunk drivers, right? So no matter what there is, there's always a consequence behind every decision we make. People know when they go to the bar, start drinking, and they're driving, there's a chance of something bad happening. You can't blame everybody else for it.
Right. After having all that money, like if you could go back and change anything, was it worth it? Was it worth getting all that money and having all that freedom?
No, because money's only good. Money's only buys happiness to where you can put food on the table and your bills are paid. Anything past that becomes an issue because then you have excess money. So then you start doing other things. And let me tell you, it attracts the wrong people. Okay. If you're not with somebody, you're going to attract somebody for the wrong purposes. Okay. Friends and girls. So once you have a certain amount of money, you have surplus. Now everybody wants to hang out with you because you're buying toys. Okay. So once you start getting more money, your mentality changes. I don't care what anybody says. You start getting more arrogant, more cocky, or whatever it is. However you change. So it changes your character. And everybody that comes in your life after that, you don't know if they're there for the right purposes. So I ended up, after the first year, I lost all my friends and I lost half my family due to money. I was lonely and unhappy after at least a little over a year having that kind of money, because I ran into so much money that people were flocking to me, and I didn't know who was true, who was fake, whatever it was. The people I thought was in my corner ended up not liking me no more because they were mad because I wasn't due, or I was hanging out with this person or that person. It just caused problems. And family members put themselves in bad situations for you to bail them out. And when you cut them off, then they're mad at you too. So
Yeah.
I would never go back to do it. Guys, to be the happiest to me is making a couple $100,000 a year bring home. Because it's enough for you to live a decent life, but not enough for people to say, this guy's got enough money to bail me out and to help me.
Yeah, having a lot of money puts you in an awkward position because I'm sure a lot of your friends probably, came to you like, "Hey man, I can't pay this, I can't pay that. Can you help me?" And then it puts you in a position where you feel like
Yes,
guilty,
always.
you know?
You help them for a little bit, and then you start going to the point where you're going, now it's getting ridiculous. It says, did you hate that you were going away broke, broke you, your daughter's mother up? Wait, did you hate that you were going away, broke you? Yes, Lacey, I tell people all the time, I would never go and do this again. If I would have known the consequences of how much time I would do and how much trouble I'd get in and losing my daughter and the girl that I loved more than anybody else. And listen, I don't love her no more. I don't want her. But I'm not going to lie. It was the love of my life. I thought we'd be together forever. I had millions of dollars and still chose her over everybody. I didn't go and dump her for all these other girls that wanted me. Now, what I know now, I would have never done it, and that's why I'm telling people my story
Yeah.
and why I wouldn't have done it again. Because I gave up the other trade because of my daughter. And I thought, everybody told me, my guy Pete, which you met, told me, he says, you're the only fucking idiot I know went legal to go to prison. He says, you gave up an illegal trade knowing you were going to go to prison, thinking you were going legal to go to prison. He says, you're the only idiot I know that's ever done that.
Well, you know what? What I believe that everything that happened, the things that you went through, you had to go through those situations for you to be the person that you are today. You know what I'm saying? So you can
Yeah.
turn it around, and you're making the best out of the situation now by sharing your story with other people. And like, we will be able to help people because people that are on drugs will reach out to you, and you have resources like me and other people that will
So
help you.
So funny you say that. Ashley, guys, Ashley that came on the other night needed help. She just called me tonight. The person I set her up with, I set her with multiple people, and the people in my group gave me so much content. She was able to get insurance, and they called her today and told her they had a bed open. She was packing her bags, called me as she's packing her bags to check herself in. She was so excited. She was crying on the phone pretty much to me with tears that she was checking herself in. She was so ready to get over this. And it was all because people in my group came to her aid when I asked them to and give me. They handed me all the stuff that all these different links, these different things. She ended up calling everybody. The first person that came through, she ended up going. She packed her bags tonight. She was telling me she was going to check herself in. So that right there was already one person that this is help that I know, and she told me if I would have never worked at the courage to ask for help on your thing, I would still be going through this right now. She says, me working that up and this group helping me, she says, I owe it to you. She don't owe nothing to me. I just told her all she needs to do is keep me up to date on the progress. And anybody that comes and asks for help, I'm going to ask my community, because 90% of the people in my community have been down this road and
Yep.
know how to recover.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Ashley came on, and she called me today, which was pretty cool. So
That's amazing. And
yeah.
the reason why I said that is because I want people to understand that, like, you're not just coming on here and talking about putting pain pills all over the United States and making pain management clinics and like thinking it's cool or bragging about it. Like, in the long run, by sharing your story, people will be able to relate to you. People open up to you, and will end up being able to help people that struggle with addiction, be able to help people that are struggling with chronic pain. And because you'll have resources to where you can connect people like treatment centers, pain management, whatever you need to do to help other people. Because that's what it's all
So
about.
yeah, it is. And the more people I meet in this community, when people come to the group, they're not asking just me. They see the content, everybody writing down here talking about, oh, I was addicted, I went. Every one of my things down here all repeat saying it. So when there's a user in here that wants help and they see that, it makes them comfortable because they're in their community. Okay, I wasn't a user, but everybody in my community was a user, just about 90% of them. So then they feel comfortable and they're like, okay, well, these are all users and they're saying they're all clean. So they're like, hey guys, she felt comfortable asking everybody, how do I get help? I want help. I'm tired of it. Everybody jumped to her help, sent me the information. I sent it to her. She got on the phone that night. The next day, she already had somebody talking to her. Insurance covered everything else, and she's on her way to a drug rehab as we speak.
Good, good.
Less
Well,
than a week.
that's all I got. I think that's the only questions I have for you. I appreciate you for coming on here and like sharing with me and answering my questions. I feel like being able to shoot back and forth kind of like makes it smoother. You know what I mean?
Some of the guys want to know when I got out. I got out a year ago. I've been on house arrest for a year now. I got hoping 3 more years. I'm waiting for the First Step Act to kick in for me, so it knocks another year off. But if not, I got 4 more years. That's how I look at it on house arrest. And the thing is, till this day, there's a chance that I can still go back, finish up my time. I accepted it. It is what it is. I'm did so much time. One thing you have to understand, in order to, when you go to prison, the hardest part is accepting your out date. Once you get that in your head and you focus on that out date, not early, but you're focused on your out date, that's when time gets hard. When you accept it.
Yeah, yeah. I did prison time, but it was nothing like 8 years. I only did a year, and it was because it was on a probation revocation. But it's true. Like I got down there and I just focused on like, okay, I'm going to be out, and I was Xing the days off on my calendar, and I worked every day, so it kind of made the time go by fast. But y'all, just so everybody knows, Jason is working on building his other social media accounts. So if y'all aren't following him, please go follow him on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Because he's going to be posting across all those platforms. And I'm trying to talk him into creating like a Patreon to where he can tell those wild, crazy stories that he can't tell on here because they're legit crazy.
Yeah, so I have pictures to back some of this stuff up, some videos to back some of it up. And I promise you, the thing about them, guys, is they're very X-rated, so you have to have a sense of humor. Got to go back and remember my age. That's why I make a point in some of my videos. This is where my age comes into play. This is what age and money does. It makes you act stupid. Money will make you totally retarded. I promise you. When you get to a certain point, it makes you retarded. And I'm already a funny person, just like the video I told you about making mud babies and stuff. You know, like I went to prison always looking for love because you never know if you could turn a guard or whatever, you know. But I was not going there to play in mud, playing,
Ooh, yeah, that
so,
was girls.
like,
Girls go gay for the stay. Women do that.
yeah,
A lot of women do that. You know, it's
almost every
easy.
one of them.
Yes,
Almost
yes.
every one of them. I'd say it's 10% of men in the men prisons, 10 to 15%. I would say on a good standing, might be a little higher than that, but it's very, very frowned upon. And it comes from most, like certain races do it more than others.
Yeah.
I will say that. So that's just how it goes. And certain zip codes, if you know what I mean. The DC ones, they're pretty into them boys. I don't know what it is, but certain areas are worse than others. But like I said, I'm not scared to answer any questions. I'll take any questions, especially in my group. My people in my group will tell you I will fight with the best of them. I'm not worried, scared about it.
I'm going to download this video. If you want me to, if you don't mind, I'll put it up on my YouTube channel. So do me a favor and send me the link to your YouTube channel and your other social media so that way I can link it underneath my the video, okay? I'm going to kick you off here and I'm going to talk to my people. You'll be able to talk to your people and then text me afterward, okay?
I got you.
All right, bye you guys.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Talk to you later. Okay. So what I'm thinking I want to do with Chris, if you're in here, is why don't you guys do one together, you and him alone, since y'all both have like experience in it. So what I'm gonna do, because honestly I'm sweating and I want to get off here and go take a shower, y'all. I don't know why it's just like 103 degrees outside here, but I wanted to get him on here and ask him these questions. That way, a lot of people who like saw that I was over there on his channel and talking with him would understand, like, hey, you know, he knows he did some dumbass shit. He knows that was not fucking good, you know? And hopefully through, like we were talking about, hopefully through him sharing his story, like we'll be able to help other people who struggle with opiate addiction, you know? Because everybody can, at least I know a lot of people my age can relate to the pill mill stories and all that. I did see Maz saying that they needed help. Maz, I'll follow you if you want to DM me. I'll do the best I can to help you, with anything that you need help with, okay? I just followed you, so just send me a message and I will connect you and I will help you I can help you find treatment. I can help you get on Suboxone if you want to do MAT treatment. I can help you into therapy, like any of that kind of stuff, right? So, it's hot. Yeah. Hey Amber, what's up, girl? So, I am always interested in hearing people's stories. You know what I mean? Anybody that's been locked up, I want to know their fucking story. You know what I'm saying? And so if any of you guys have been locked up or had an addiction or been in trouble, I would love to have you on for you to share your story also. You know what I mean? Cause it's just interesting to me. Yeah, Suboxone helped me too, Monica. So, you know, if you have chronic pain and you don't feel like you can do without some type of opiate, then getting on like Suboxone or methadone could save your life. I know a lot of the time with pain, people that have pain and their pain pills, is you could get to a point where it's just not enough. It's just not enough. And you're taking your pain pills and you're running out early and you're fucking like 2 weeks out early, and then you have to go to the streets to buy that next 2 weeks to float you over till you see your doctor. And so I understand that's exactly what was happening to me in my life when I got prescriptions, is I was running out early and then I'd have to go to my doctor and I'd be all out and I'd be in withdrawal, and it was just terrible. It was a fucking vicious cycle. So I'm going to get off here and I'm going to download this video and put it up on my YouTube channel. What are we going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow I have Mike coming on to share his story. Now Mike is in recovery and his TikTok account is Inspire to Inspire. And he's going to come on and share his story of recovery. So that will be a recovery thing tomorrow, okay? But I'm kind of like trying to branch out and like have people on that maybe they're not in recovery. Maybe they did, you know, like prison time or something like that. Something interesting. That way we can appeal to more people. You know what I mean? Yeah, so Maz, we understand what you're going through, babe. We really, really do. And so, like I said, if you feel comfortable and you want to, send me a DM and I'll help you any way I can, okay? And like I said, you see all the people in here, Monica and Amber and everybody, like we honestly don't want you to be struggling because we all know what it's like. And so if you want to reach out to anybody that is in my chat, everybody here, they're all amazing. I trust them, and you could reach out to them too, okay? So I love you guys. I'm going to go rinse off because like I said, I'm sweaty. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. You can DM me here. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's all Discovering Nicole. Okay? All right. Bye, y'all. Love y'all.